And good evening. I'm political editor Dennis Welch. This is Politics Unplugged, and Arizona is heavily dependent on water from the Colorado River. But that supply is getting smaller and smaller. And as the feds decide who should get the water, our state could be at serious risk. Here to talk about that, Congressman Greg Stanton. Thank you very much for being here. And yes, there were some plans unveiled by the Biden administration this past week. There are two proposals out there. Now, one would reduce the amount of water coming from the Colorado River in equal amounts to California and Arizona. The other could have very devastating effects on Arizona, because that would recognize California's seniority rights over the river and the water there. Talk to us about the impacts of that second option.
Yeah, the drought and the effect on the Colorado River for 23 years now, despite the wet winter that we've recently had, it's devastating. It is a slow-moving natural disaster impacting 40 million people in Arizona and the Southwest that rely on the Colorado River. We have to make some very difficult choices. Arizona has shown leadership. We'll continue to show leadership. We are willing to take our fair share of the cuts necessary to help us get through the drought. But we will not stand for what California is proposing, where they don't take a drop of sacrifice, and yet Arizona would lose all of its allocation of the Colorado River. It's important, not just on a human level, because we're doing so well here in Arizona, one of the fastest growing states, but think about it from an economic level. Semiconductor industry, this incredibly important industry for the future economy of the country, for the national security of the country. It's going on more here in Arizona than anywhere else in the country. We're growing, and we need that water. So we're willing to deal with our fair share, but not our disproportionate share. And that's why, of the two alternatives, the ones that spreads the pain equally is absolutely the right choice.
Yeah, and I find it hard to believe and highly unlikely that a president seeking re-election would turn the water off to a key swing state like Arizona a year before he starts running for re-election in earnest. But can you talk to us, tell our viewers a little bit, have you gotten any assurances from the White House that they are not going to go with that, what's been coined the pro-California plan?
Yeah, I've tried to use my bully pulpit in Congress very loudly. I've written a letter directly to Gavin Newsom saying the governor of California needs to get more directly involved in these negotiations. And we've written directly to the President of the United States saying this is of national importance that you get involved. Remember, in Arizona, we have done water settlements with many of our tribal communities. Those are treaties that have to be respected. California's proposal, the alternative one in the Bureau of Reclamation, would not enable us to actually implement those treaties in the ways that they have been written. That is not the right thing to do. I get asked all the time, what are the political implications of whether alternative one or alternative two is implemented? Who cares about the political implications? What's the right thing to do for the people of the desert Southwest? What's the right thing to do for our nation? The right thing to do is to share in the sacrifice, share in the cuts, which Arizona is willing to do. We can continue to grow and expand our economy if done so. What California proposing is unacceptable.
Sure, but the question was, have you received any assurances from the White House as far as which plan that they're looking at? Have they sat down and communicated with your office, with Democrats, saying, look, this California proposal is out there, we're not going to go that way?
No, they're looking at alternative solutions right now. As you mentioned, one of them would be what I would describe as a California proposal that looks at the existing legal issues, which puts California in a superior legal position. The other alternative option looks at sharing the sacrifice among all of the basin states. Look, we understand we're not in as strong a legal position as California is, but this is a natural disaster. This is a natural disaster. Those compacts were made decades ago. We don't want to violate our treaty rights that we have signed with our tribal communities. If you want to do what's right for the nation and our economy, sharing the pain, which is clearly the right thing to do, is the right approach. And that's why we're urging the administration to adopt alternative two. We're making the case. But no, they have not provided assurances at this time that they're going to go in one direction or the other. And that's why we need to speak loudly and with one voice about what is the right thing to do for water in Arizona.